Welcome to our demonstration of the integration of 3D View Station into SAP. We are using the ECTR product of the company called DSC in Germany. This is based on primarily the concept of using virtual products, so there's no assembly file in the system and everything is managed in the core system. We start here with an editing session inside NX. The same integration would be available for CATIA as well, or for Solid Edge. So after the editing, we go to our desktop in the ECTR solution and drag and drop it down to our workspace to get a view on an assembly. And now the UI is in German, so we have to translate a bit. We're going to load that into a viewer. In this case, a 3D View Station is running in a window of ECTR. We do call that an in-place integration. And on the top right here you can see some metadata, status information, versioning information, history information, associated files, lists, and everything else. Now we will show a few basic functions of the 3D View Station being used there, so we can isolate parts, we can change the view direction and so forth. We can do measurements, so we can identify circles, and you can see here in the status line there, you can see the results. So this is implementation as you would like to do. We can, just as an example, do the measurements of distance of two holes. So basically what's about here is to show that we are fully integrating the UI. So many icons you can see are coming from 3D View Station products. Some of them belong to ECTR itself. But so it's really transparent to the user. But if you like to use a full UI of 3D View Station, as maybe you need all functions, and you like to have the whole space of your desktop using it, it's no problem. It's just one API call to get 3D View Station into the foreground. And just to avoid misunderstandings, 3D View Station is available in many languages. Also is running everything in German here. ECTR is also translated in several languages. So the context menu you can see here is coming from 3D View Station, but you still can customize it, add or remove some own functions. People like having the viewing capabilities inside the window of their PLM system, because everything is together. If you're working in more intense, you probably want to resize it and have it larger. Okay. Now let's continue with some of the more interesting things which are available if you're working with the virtual products. And one of the things is, you can simply show and hide objects in your tree of your PLM system, ECTR in this case, and the viewer will simply follow you. So if you say hide a part, hide an assembly, it will be hidden. And it's just a question of the integration to really do that in real time. And 3D View Station is quick. We do not have to reload a complete assembly every time, including a part, missing a part, whatever. No, it's just a simple API call to say show it, hide it, and even the complete load of this structure has been done through APIs, so with transformation matrices and position information. So in this case we are applying some rules, and we tell it how do you want to rule it. Just show the selection, or whatever you like. So we told the viewer to load the selection. We can also tell the CAD system to load the selection. The CAD system does it a little bit different for editing, because it will load the complete structure and everything else will be hidden, which is in principle a little bit disadvantage for really large assemblies. But you can see 3D View Station for viewing. It's easier, because if you only want to load the two parts here, it's only 2 API calls for the two parts to position them. Again, the real advantage of virtual products means, I know where I loaded my parts, so I can decide which part to load. That means I also can decide which version of a part I would like to see. And even if we would allow the user to move a part around, it will be replaced at the current position. So we're doing that here with the sub-assembly. We're doing that here with the complete computer, for instance, or with the plate of the table. And we're loading a different version, and you can see the viewer is reacting in real time. So it's no complete reload, it's just remove the one part and load the other part at the same position as the other one has been before. That's a real advantage. So what's not being shown here is that you, even before loading the structure, you can switch the view on the structure as designed, as maintained, whatever you like. You can decide only to load the selection in your tree on the left side, and so forth. Finally, we'll show some other tiny things of the viewer, different rendering modes, annotation capabilities, which we obviously have, frequently asked for markup, and finally, for collaboration purposes, the possibility to export the result into PDF, and you will be able to have a look on Adobe Reader. Thanks, that's for today.